All right, here we go. I want to start here. I have an article in my hand. This is back to the current issue of window dressing going on out there currently. And when I say window dressing, I know you guys laughed at me earlier, but there's a lot of that happening where very tone-deaf companies are attempting to take advantage of the trendiness in the moment and attempting to make their alliances known, even if it's not all the way accurate. They're attempting to stand on the right side of right, which I do view as progress for some of these people.
Absolutely.
I do.
Sure.
I do. But there's just more work to be done.
Yes.
So I addressed some of this last week when it came to Dolan and the Knicks and the message that he's put out there in terms of his company. We got into it a little bit with Amanda Seals and her situation. And I'm on record saying that after all of these protests and some of the sentiments pass, I do believe that people are going to start taking this fight to the workplace. I stand in that.
It's a major part of it.
I think that, and I'll use Dolan and the Knicks as an example. I think that with the state of affairs out there and with how black people are feeling, I think that it's going to be tough to go to work if the company that you work for has expressed that all lives matter.
Right.
It's going to be tough to go to work and perform to the best of your ability if you're working for a company that you know is not on the right side of this argument. And many of us just so happen to know that about our workplace. So what happens then? It's the same thing I said about the kid Mikey Williams last week and the stance that he's taken as far as HBCUs.
Right.
Yeah. There's just a lot of it going on, and I don't think that it's going to stop. I think that there's a major issue on the way, and that's kind of come to fruition a little bit, even with how fast Roger Godell has acted with that video that he put out. That you can be the judge on whether you think it's sincere or not. For us, we'll know it's sincere when Kaepernick is able to get a job.
Right.
Yeah.
And even then,
but it begs,
I don't even know if it's sincere then.
But it begs the question. Yeah, true. But that'll be a step in the right direction. But it begs the question, and I saw some of the ESPN people talking about this. Why did Roger Goodell act so fast in this instance? Is it because all the NFL players got together and did a video?
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not.
What do you think? Why do you think he released this video?
Pat Mahomes.
What about Pat Mahomes?
He's the future.
That's it.
The future of the NFL, and he's black.
That's my answer.
And it's
Wasn't he a
standing
part of the videos that went out?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was. I think that with all the stars in that video, Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, a lot of stars in there, the only reason that he had to act this fast with this stance is because of Patrick Mahomes. That's my opinion. See, we came in here last year and talked about the black quarterback phenomenon, but we didn't really talk about it.
Right.
We just said, hey, it's awesome that there's a bunch of black quarterbacks. But
And
why?
it is.
But why is it awesome? It's not awesome because we get to see black people throw a ball and cheer from them when they hit a touchdown, and black people are good and white people had no idea, and the prototypical version of what they told us a good quarterback was has changed. Pocket passer. Fam, who gives a fuck?
It's the most powerful position on the field.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. So
And
when
it's
you
typically been
have
reserved for the white superhero.
So when you have 22-year-old black quarterbacks, when I say Pat Mahomes, he's your issue for the next 10 to 15 years. This is not like
He appears
this
to be
ain't
the future
Brady.
of the NFL.
This ain't somebody on their way out where you don't have to give a fuck about him. This is your reigning MVP, two-time MVP, Super Bowl MVP,
One time.
Yeah.
And,
MVP and Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
This is your black quarterback on the winningest team that demands the ratings that garner your fucking advertising deals out there. If that man decides to sit down or kneel or say that we disagree, the NFL has a huge problem on their hands. He had to act quickly. This is not Kaepernick. And that's what I'm saying all around the board. Maybe last year, all these things remain true about Patrick Mahomes. But maybe last year, Patrick Mahomes' brain wasn't even in the place to say, this is how powerful I am, and let me assert that and be willful.
I think it was
Today, that's happening. And it's not just going to be Patrick Mahomes, Mikey Williams.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to. I think that video, collectively, I think Roger Goodell saw what could come from that. I think he saw how that could turn into the entire league of African Americans coming together and saying, you know what? Let's sit out.
Well, let me ask you, I do think that there will be kneeling in the upcoming season.
Absolutely.
Sure.
One
I
million.
hope so.
Definitely will be.
And a lot of it,
Yeah, absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to read this article that a gentleman by
I
the name...
think Roger Goodell is going to kneel this season.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Talking about the window dressing thing, I think that will happen.
In the garb.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm going to read this article or pieces of this article from Music Business, musicbusinessworldwide.com. Gentleman by the name of Ron Sweeney wrote this article, and he was addressing the current stance of the music industry of everybody putting out these statements to say I stand with niggas, but they don't really be standing with niggas.
Okay.
Like you have not restructured the business.
Mm-hmm.
You have not restructured the royalties. You have not given black executives the power to green light anything. You're tokenizing black people and having them report to white people in black culture. But I'll just read some of this. He says, I'm happy that Universal, Warner, and Sony Music want to donate money to support the Black Lives Matter movement. But what the movement needs is meaningful change, not window dressing. Address the elephant in the room. Why is it that black music generates millions and millions of dollars a year, and yet none of the companies have a meaningful number of employees of color, let alone in the executive suite? See, now he's trying to have some real talk.
Right.
The few employees there work only black music. Minority employees are virtually non-existent in many other areas of the company. With few exceptions, minorities lack authority to make decisions and have to say, "Mother, may I," to get something done. Yes, you have a few exceptions. Every year, black music generates hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars a year. Black music has been responsible for and the driving force of increasing the value of these companies in the financial markets.
It's billions. Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
too.
The record business has been making money off of black people since they first called our music race records. I can recall an executive at Sony Music, blah, blah, blah. We don't have to get into all that. But he goes into his plan of how we can start to see effective change from some of the record companies. He says, if the music companies are serious about making changes, address the elephant in the room. Number one, Sony, Warner, and Universal. Create new companies to be headed by minorities. Give them their own budgets and let them run the companies like you currently do with other executives. Empower them. Trust them. People need jobs, not just donations. Boy, does that sound eerily familiar. I won't say where it's familiar from. 2, create an executive training program where you can actually teach a number of minorities each year the worldwide record business. Make it a 3-year program and rotate them through the various departments so one day they will have the experience and expertise to run a major record company.
Love that.
3, hire minorities and give them the opportunity to do their jobs, i.e. give them budget and authority to make decisions, as opposed to having to wait on someone to decide who often does not even understand the music or the culture.
Can we get rid of the word minorities? I would like to see that go. Because why is it considered minorities when like all I see is politicians catering and pandering to our vote? So if anything, that would say like we're a majority.
Yeah, the definition of minority and how it's used in America is a bit off.
Yeah, like I would like to see us lose that word because y'all cater to us too much.
'Cause
And
I do think that white people are the minority. Y'all don't fuck as much as us. We have more babies. Y'all have to be the minority by now. Look that up.
If they add up,
They're not. It's 60% white still, this country.
How many?
yeah, they
60.
they were
still
actually
better.
suggesting the more Latin population in the next however many years will end up making white people the minority because they categorize anyone that's not white as a minority in America. That's why Maul is correct. The word minority in America is used a bit incorrectly.
Yeah, I would like to see that word go. We can't be minority and you want our vote, like, and you want our money, and you want that sounds like we're very important. We're the majority.
4, I don't know if that's what majority means, but I'm rolling with you anyway. 4, go into the black colleges and adequately fund and sponsor music industry business programs. Create a talent pool in which to draw upon. Lynn Blavitnik. I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name, but that's the Warner guy that's worth all the money. You are arguably the smartest and most generous philanthropist in the record business, and you own the Warner Music Group. Vincent Belor. Again, I hope I'm not mispronouncing these names. These are ghosts.
Yeah, you won't hear
You
from
are a major philanthropist as well and control the Universal Music Group. Universal has recently been valued at over $30 billion in part because of the success of black music and, of course, your deal-making abilities. Gentlemen, please give serious thought as you are giving away money to contributing in a meaningful way to help to financially stabilize all of the historically black colleges and universities, large and small. Yada, yada, yada. He continues, but you get where he's going here. This is an effective plan. These are his proposed policies. I totally agree with it. But I think that's part of the big issue that we're having right now, and I do want to talk about it for a second. This is not a trendy moment. I know it appears to be a trendy moment, but this is not a trendy moment. Unfortunately, this is what some of your black employees have to live with day in and day out. And some of you companies that's just putting out these fucking blank publicist, bland, dry, whitewash statements. When you do that, it comes off tone deaf. And some of the statements that you're giving come off tone deaf to being tone deaf.
Right.
And it comes off that you're just trying to save face for the moment that's going on.
Yeah. And even some of the donation stuff.
Let me say something because I feel pressured to do so. And that was kind of what we had talked about last episode, the episode before that, about that music industry blackout Tuesday day. We're going to take the day off to reflect. What you just read is what they should come back with. Like if you're going to take this, if you're just going to take the day off and say we're going to come back and we're just going to think about things, how we can help. No, you're just taking the day off to save face. What you just read is actual action that could be put place in the system.
Actionable items that impact change.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Don't tell me that you give a fuck about your black creators and you will not restructure your business so that it exemplifies that. Right. Like I don't care about your Instagram post in this matter. I don't care about your tweet. I don't care about the email that went out. It's nasty. Change some shit if we're really going to change some shit. And unfortunately, some of the companies that's just taking advantage of a moment don't really get the plight. Like I said last week with Drew Brees, and a lot of y'all killed me. Y'all thought I was giving him a pass. I was not. But you have to understand when you're dealing with white people that just don't know shit. It's not to attack them for not knowing shit.
Right.
It's to explain to them that you don't know shit. And that some of us black people that work at your company, we're not here to be tokenized.
Right.
And if we are, that's going to be on our merit. And that's going to be our choice. It certainly is not going to be because of y'all. Like we've said these last few weeks, some of y'all want to show y'all support. Show me your board of executives and how many black people are in this company and how many black people have had the chance to advance in this company. Don't tell me you give a fuck about black people or... Let me not say, I got an issue with that word, black, now. But don't tell me that you all for our people, but you're going to stick to some of the same business practices that have robbed us, that has built your entire fucking platform, and just ignore us. No. Sorry. Y'all going to let me rant? I can keep going.
No, keep going.
No, keep going. Or make money off that culture to begin with. That's the biggest part to me. If you have all white execs and you're selling to black people and you're selling black music, tell me how that makes sense.
Fam, don't put out your little fucking Instagrams and tweets about how you in support of black people and you are standing with Trump and you've been sending money to support Trump financially and have it's oxymoronic. You can't do it. Don't tell me that you support black people, but there's none of them there. Don't tell me you support black people, but black people can't get a vacation if they ask for one. If your fucking top level performer is black and he asks you for a vacation, pardon me, it's a mental health break.
Right.
White people, some of y'all might not understand what a mental health break is because you're not going through and enduring some of the same things these black people are. It's important for me to note. If you want to show your appreciation, you do it by the advancement of black people, especially in your company. And unfortunately, in a lot of this shit going on, that's difficult to see. But what we are seeing now is this, and we're going to get to Billy Porter. Billy Porter, who I love. Billy Porter, who I love, and I have sung his praises here forever, has come out with a speech toward black people about their hate for the LGBTQ community. Mm-hmm. He says that y'all can't, he's saying the same thing I'm saying to white people. Mm-hmm. He's saying you can't run around and say all this shit about you against racism and you against fascism and you against whatever the fuck you against. And he's right in that. He's right in that point. But guess what? Not now. Sorry, I know I'm not part of that community, so they kill you for saying something when you're not part of that community, but there's a lot of people personalizing what's happening in the world. Mm-hmm. Billy Porter's absolutely right about the treatment of the LGBTQ community.
Correct.
I saw some other young lady tweet about how it was some colorism tweets. Hey, don't talk about how you against racism and all this shit, and you look down on darker skinned people. You promote the light skin versus dark skin.
Yeah, but you're right. We can get
That's
to that.
That's true too.
But we can get to that.
There's like a large community of people out there that are just personalizing this mainstream issue and somehow making it about you.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right about the trans. Yes, you're right about colorism existing between lighter and lighter and dark skinned people.
That's a fact.
Right this second, we're coming together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right this second, our focus should not be each other. And there's plenty of wrong there for us to get to.
Yeah.
I'm not absolving that. Please don't mistake my words. I'm saying that this current fight is against systemic oppression and racism.
Right.
That is what this is about. This is about a cop being able to kill a black man and go home to his family. If they find a black nigga that did it, they're throwing him in the cell for life.
Right. As they should.
Yeah, 100%. But that just should be the case. There's a lot of personalizing of these things going on, and just now is not the right time. And if it is, then please let me jump in with some shit that's personal to me, which is let's get racism out of advertising.
Yeah, that's a whole nother issue. A whole
No,
nother issue.
It's the issue.
Yeah. I mean,
It's another way for them to keep intact some of the bullshit that exists.
But that's like you said.
We don't need white people
right.
to be the gateway to a fucking advertiser.
I agree.
But we do, because of how white people and advertisers view black people.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, this is not a Joe word. There's a lot of podcasters out there that know what the fuck I'm talking about. Know how? Because you can't get an ad dollar on your own. You can't source it. Call Cadillac. Call Target. If I'm off, stop me.
No, go
Call
ahead.
somebody. It's plenty of you. Say, Vaughn, you do a podcast.
But that goes back to what you said, the workplace. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot that has to
that's
change.
hiring advertising companies, which, again, if we look through their executive board, is a majority white.
Listen,
You know what?
unfortunately, I've had this conversation a few times. Once at the end of my complex contract, I've talked about it here before, where I heard some shit that was like, disheartening.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, damn, like that? Then you view it like that still? Like, how can I can't come to work? Like, if you're viewing me that way, I can't come here and bring you business. And you may not know it, but my business is keeping the lights on here. I can't do it. I'll tell a quick story about exactly what I'm talking about while omitting the names. In the great words of Pusha T, if you know, you know. There was a black executive that worked at Company A for 20 years. right? And went to the white boss and said, hey, I would like to be president of A&R. Know what the white boss said? New on the job. Know what he said? You guessed it. You're not qualified for that. Know what the black dude said? This is a real story. Well, if I'm not qualified for this job, because I've been here 20 years through every artist in the world that's gone through this building, my name, this label, my name bleeds this label. If I'm not qualified, who here is?
Right.
Let me stop you there. That's a card that black people don't even get to pull. So we already in unique circumstances. Hey, if I'm not qualified, who is? Who are you going to get to do this job if not me? Know what he said? Know what the white dude said? You guessed it. Me. I'm going to do it. And that's what I'm talking about. It don't matter how fucking qualified you are,
You're still not qualified.
you're going to get treated a certain way. I got a lot to say about this topic that I just say behind the scenes.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting too, Joe? I've been finding myself looking at a lot of old Dame interviews. And, you know, a lot of the reasons why he was ousted and, you know, the industry kind of turned their back on him is because all of this that we talking about now and that is going on now is shit he was preaching 15, 16, 17 years ago. And his fight, you know, with people trying to come in and work with Rockefeller and do business with them. And he was saying like, yo, y'all not from my culture. How y'all trying to tell me how to operate my company that represents our culture? So a lot of these interviews that I'm going back and looking, you know, that Dame has done over the years, you know, people call Dame a whole bunch of shit. Crazy, he's bitter, he's, you know, angry, he's all of these things, but...
We never said he wasn't bright.
Right.
And you can't, but you can't.
Or
correct.
Right.
We
you
never
can't-
said that.
But that's
We
the
just said
thing.
Dame is nuts.
It's but is he nuts though?
Dame is nuts.
But why?
Maybe not for that, but Dame is nuts.
But he's nuts because he knows the
He's
system.
he's nuts for why I'm nuts. For my brash delivery.
Exactly my point. So
yeah.
it's this is a thing where it's like today I'm glad that these conversations are happening and things are moving and things are, you know, because it starts with conversations. We got to have these conversations, however awkward and uncomfortable they may be. We have to go in these workplaces and these conversations have to be had. We can no longer put this on hold. This has to happen. Change has to happen.
White people, there's nothing wrong with shutting the fuck up sometimes. And that's not specific to white people. I'm only telling y'all this in this moment. Like, we don't always have to know the right thing to say. I get it that the bottom line of your business is affected if the black side of it is not addressed, because they're related. But you just don't always have to run out and just say some fly shit. Hey, a lot of white podcasters have gotten this wrong. I've listened. I heard it with my own 2 ears. A lot of you white dudes got on your platform and killed the looters. Shut the fuck up. It's okay to not know. Damn, I forgot what Don LaGreca said. I was listening on the radio. He fucking peeved me off too. But everybody's been pissing me off. Just with people that don't get it, don't quite understand, don't know what side to fall on. All we know is that, hey, gotta say this, gotta get this statement out there, and it don't matter what applies to that. I challenge the music business to restructure. I challenge the streaming companies to restructure. I challenge the black people to challenge where the fuck you work to restructure. Because guess what? We ain't feeling the greatest right now. I ain't.
Right.